Hi guys, Nicole here. How are you guys doing? I wanted to do a video today about a process that I do often in my scrapbooking, and I talked about it before and it's nothing new, but I feel like it's something that could help a lot of us if we're struggling with certain groups of photos that we have, because it can be very intimidating and overwhelming, and that is event scrapbooking basically. A lot of us take lots of pictures. We have weekend getaways or birthdays or holidays or whatever where we have tons of photos, and we struggle with how to scrapbook them because it's either, you can do some one-page layouts, you can do some double-page spreads, but sometimes you have too many photos for that, and so you're having to choose between picking certain photos and only scrapbooking them. What do you do with the rest of the photos? Or do you scrapbook them all and just make a bazillion layouts? And this is kind of, for me, a happy medium. And I wanted to share that. And I'm gonna actually do a spread today showing that process. And so I want to talk about it really briefly. So basically what I do when I have events or things that I have multiple pictures and I don't want to scrapbook every single one, nor do I want to do a mini album, because of course a mini album is always an option. Double page spreads is always an option, but sometimes you even have too many photos for that. And so what I do is I incorporate divided page protectors, and I combine them with my layouts so that I can keep all the photos from that particular event together and not separate them. So when I first started scrapbooking after I had my kids, and I kind of came across a lot of those situations where I'd have lots and lots of photos, I would scrapbook my favorites, then I'd put the rest of the photos in a photo album, and that felt really disjointed to me. And then also, besides the photos, then you also have, especially when you have kids and different things that you go to, you get lots of memorabilia. And so instead of having them in like 3 separate places, I wanted to come up with a system where I could put them all together. And so when these divided page protectors came out a few years ago, kind of with the Project Life pocket scrapbooking trend, I had kind of an eye-opening moment where I'm like, I can use those and put them together with my finished layouts and keep them all together. And I can get rid of all these extra photo albums and all these other processes that I use to scrapbook, or to kind of store those and actually keep them all together. So now the whole story is being told in one grouping of layouts and divided page protectors, and it's all together. And so that makes me super happy. And so I've really enjoyed that process. It also allows you to mix up your scrapbooking a little bit. So I can do an actual page, but then I can also do some pocket pages, and it's always fun to mix it up a little bit. But then you get to keep them together, and when you look at them all together, it tells the whole story of that particular event. And so I want to show you a couple examples really quickly. These actually I showed in my last layout share video, so I apologize if you've already seen these, but I wanted to just show a couple examples of these. And today I'm going to actually do a spread I'm scrapbooking my youngest daughter's most recent birthday, and I've already made a few layouts. I'll show those to you. So there's also a little bit of a layout share in here as well. It's kind of a video of all trades, I guess. So quickly, I'm going to show you some examples of how I've done this, and then I'm going to do one for you with pages that I'm working on now. So this first section here is actually just an evening out with the family. We went out when restrictions were lifted with COVID. We decided to go hang out as a family, and we went bowling and we went miniature golfing and just had a really fun evening out, all 4 of us together. And so I took lots of photos because we hadn't been out for a while. And so what I did here was I did a layout. I took a couple selfies of us at the bowling alley, and then so I went ahead and journaled kind of about the evening there, and then scrapbooked those photos. And then next to that, I put together this divided page protector with the rest of the photos from the bowling alley, from us bowling, and still was able to decorate it a little bit. I typically use the same paper line when I'm doing one event. I'll do the same paper line throughout to keep it cohesive. I think it just adds to bringing it all together. I have like a bazillion of different divided page protectors. There's so many designs out there, and I kind of have probably a good mix of all of them, because then I can look at what photos I have, if they're horizontal or vertical, or if they're able to be cropped down or not, and I can pick the best page protector that fits those particular sets of photos. And so here, I think this is this design A. It's a very popular design that's used for Project Life. Actually, it's not A. A is actually where the little ones are this way. But anyway, it's one of the Project Life branded protectors. And so I put the bowling alley ones here, and on the back, I then we went miniature golfing afterwards, so then I did the accompanying photos from miniature golfing. Let's see if I can move this over here so you can see it all. Then on the back, and then on the other side of that will be the selfie we took in the miniature golf course, and journaled about that part of the evening. And so I was able to get about 15 photos scrapbooked, but actually only did 2 actual 12 by 12 layouts, but I was still able to scrapbook the entire evening together in this grouping of pages. And so that is one example, and I just love that because, again, I didn't have to do a page for every single picture. You know, I didn't have to do multiple pages. I could just do a couple pages but still get all the pages scrapbooked. So that is one example, and that was just for one evening. But then also, you know, we have events, right, where we take lots and lots and lots of photos, family reunions, birthday parties, holidays, those kinds of things. And so this is also very helpful to do for those types of events as well. So this particular event was a concert that I went to recently, and I showed these again, like I said in my last video, but I had taken lots of pictures because not only was the concert like amazing, and I wanted to document it fully, but it also had a lot of relevance to my childhood, and so I also wanted to make those connections. And so now all these layouts are together in this group. And so I used one paper line, although there was a boy version and a girl version, and I actually mixed those together, but again, that helps keep them all cohesive. This could be an album in itself, but it's going to be kind of like an album within an album. It's going to go into my like Nicole album. And so what I did was I scrapbooked, you know, my childhood memories of these groups, and then I scrapbooked the evening itself of the actual concert. And so, you know, us going out to eat beforehand, us at the actual venue, the best pictures of the main group, which is New Kids on the Block. I know, don't laugh, you guys. It was an awesome concert. But then what I did was I had so many other photos, and I didn't want to get rid of those photos. I didn't want to leave them out. They were part of the evening. They were part of the story. And even for, you know, even like with birthdays, right? Like a lot of times we look at our pictures like, oh man, there's like 10 pictures of my daughter opening gifts, and that's not very exciting, but you never know what memories those are going to invoke down the road. I know when I look back at my childhood pictures, some of those pictures that seem kind of mundane are pictures that really spark memories for me, right? Whether it's the furniture in the background or a particular present that I was opening, and that was a toy that was one of my absolute favorites as a child. Like sometimes I don't want to be the one to choose what photos are important and which ones aren't, because I never know what value they're going to have in the future. And so this is a great way to include them all and not feel like you have to throw some away or not print some or whatever. And so lots of photos in here. So I used the page protector, and I journaled on one of the cards there. And also, like I said, I have lots of different designs and sizes. So this is a 6 by 12 that I put some photos in. And then I organize it so that I had like Debbie Gibson focus pictures here that will then be right next to my layout about Debbie Gibson and my kind of childhood memories of her, and the specific pictures of just her performing that night. And then that's followed up by Tiffany, and then some more page protectors with Salt and Peppa and Naughty by Nature and the finale. And so as a grouping, this these layouts tell the story of not just going to that concert, but also the connection that those memories have to my childhood. And so it ends up being a super valuable grouping. But I got dozens and dozens of photos scrapbooked and only made 6 layouts, right? So that's kind of the point of this process, and I think it's been very valuable to me. Now, somewhere I have the ticket printed off and I just can't find it. So what I have like 5x7 and 4x6, 5.5 by 8.5, a variety of different sizes of page protectors. So when I find that, I'll also slip that into one and I'll include that in this mix of layouts. The way I'm able to do this is I use D-ring, 3-ring binders. And about 3 years ago, I did a massive album reorganization project where I moved all my albums to 3-ring binders and I alphabetized all my layouts. So when I get to a point where I'm able to start going through all my memorabilia that I've saved over the years, it'll be easy for me to slip them in, to find the date and to slip them into the albums that they belong in next to the layouts that they belong next to. It's just a way to keep it all together. And that way you don't have to have a memorabilia album separate from your pictures. It can all be combined together and it can all follow the timeline of your life. And so sometimes that in itself has value, where you can kind of see a transition of things over time, and it's not disjointed and separated, and it's all together. So that's an example of how I've done that recently. I've done this process for a few years now, and I absolutely love it. And so today I'm going to do a layout. So today I'm going to do a layout from my youngest daughter's birthday. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause it here. I'm going to probably up the speed a little bit and do a voiceover, just because I'm not scrapbooking a ton right now, and so sometimes it takes me a little while to get started. And so I don't want you to have to like sit and wait for forever for me to kind of get my mojo going here. So hold on tight. I'm gonna do a video and just kind of show you how this process works for me in terms of like scrapbooking a birthday party. Alrighty, so I am going to make a 2-page spread. One side is going to be a layout, one side is going to be a divided page protector. So I have these photos I printed. Now I'm kind of playing with a new printer, and I'm not a huge fan of the photo paper that came with it, but I'm just using them because I printed them and I don't want to waste them. And so you'll see like those middle photos kind of printed weird sizes, and so I'm not for sure why, but I'll have to trim those down. So I decided I'm going to do a page protector that has 6 horizontal 4x6s, and so I know I'm going to have to trim down those photos, and so I'm just trying to figure out what to do with those. I knew I wanted the picture with the cars to be kind of a focal photo, because that's the whole point of this layout. And so what I end up doing is pulling the photo on the middle left of her where she's just crying out of like surprise and joy, and just kind of, she was overwhelmed a little bit. I decided to pair that with that photo. And so then I have 5 photos, and that leaves me one empty space if I want to journal, because I don't know for sure if my layout will have journaling on it or if I'll be journaling on a card. So I want to leave that kind of available if needed. And then it leaves me just one kind of odd shaped photo that I can just back with some pattern paper later down the road. And that's what I end up doing. I just trim them down really quick to see. I want them to each have an even amount of white border around them, so that they look cohesive. I printed them with a border, and so I'm just trimming them down to see exactly what they look like. And I quickly get rid of this mat. So our table that I'm scrapbooking on is our dining room table, and it has like these slats, which makes it really hard to write on. And so I was going to use this mat, but I ended up getting rid of it. And then when it gets to the point to where I need to do some marker work on the layout or, writing, then I put the mat back down. But anyway, so I decided to pair these two together, which I thought was great. It showed the signs on the fence that her aunt and cousins had, or aunt, uncle, and cousins had made for her and surprised her with, which is how we actually got her out to the outside without telling her, without her knowing what was happening. So we were going to go take the signs down because it was getting kind of windy. And I said, hey, let's go take some pictures of you really quickly in front of those signs that they had put on our outside fence. And knowing, because they had texted me that they were on their way with the motorcade, the birthday motorcade. And so that's how we got her out there. And then all these cars started coming and honking, and so, okay, I'm going to back up a little bit. I'm sorry. So I'm using the And Many More Pink Paisley birthday line. It's very, very cute. I love this line. And I've made a few layouts. So if you wait till the end of this, I'm going to make another video just showing you the layouts I've made so far with it. So it's kind of a layout share as well. Anyway, so to back up a little bit, the story of this layout, or her birthday, I should say, was her birthday landed mid-April, which is right kind of after all the COVID craziness started to happen. And so she couldn't have a birthday party. It was her 13th birthday. She was so sad about it. Like, I'm talking for weeks. She was just super upset about this. She was looking really forward to her 13th birthday. And so I planned a secret surprise birthday drive-by for her with a bunch of kids from her class and some family members. And so, thankfully, my sister-in-law kind of helped spearhead it a little bit as far as, like, headed up and that kind of thing. And so that morning, they had surprised her with these really fun birthday signs on our fence that announced her birthday. And so, as that time came, and we had a thing where she was texting me when they were on their way. They all met like a couple blocks away and then made their way towards our house. So I knew that they were coming. So then I made up a story that we're going to go out and take some pictures of her with the signs and then take the signs down before they blew away. And so when we were out there, then that's when all the cars started to come, and she started to register what was happening as they were like saying happy birthday, and they had balloons coming out the windows and they were running up presents to her. And it was just awesome. And it was unforgettable. Like, it was super emotional, and she started crying, and she was just so happy. And so I really wanted to scrapbook this, of course. And I love that. So the photos I ended up pairing on the actual layout was the cars coming, and then a picture of her just being overwhelmed with a joyful tears. And so, and then the other photos were, I just took a bunch of photos of like her with all like the massive amounts of balloons and bags and signs that they had made for her. And then like Dad hugging her. And so the divided page protector is just kind of some accompanying photos from just that moment. But these were like two really special photos from this moment in time. And so here I just wanted to use that balloon vellum because she had like all these balloons like flying, and we actually lost a couple to the wind because it was actually windy. Like, we didn't make that up. But so I wanted to use this balloon vellum and white background, and all the other layouts from this birthday are white background. And so I just was having trouble, like that teal or that aqua color of the mat was kind of throwing me off. I as far as the colors were concerned. And so anyway, so I took that away. So I wanted to keep it pretty simple and quick. I didn't want to spend a ton of time on this because I wanted to get the second page finished as well. I didn't want this to be a super long video. And so I just kind of slapped some stuff down, and that's kind of how I usually do it anyway. So unless I'm like following a sketch or something like that, I just kind of go with the gut. So I just put down kind of a big strip of the balloon, it's not vellum, it's acetate, I think. Yeah, it's an acetate paper, I'm sorry. It's really pretty, it has like gold like flecks, and it's a really pretty paper. And then I just use that multicolored striped paper, which I always love getting some kind of multicolored paper on a lot of layouts where there's lots of colors in the pictures, because then it kind of gives me freedom to embellish kind of however I want to and not be limited. So, so I start gluing some things down. So I wanted to have a journaling card there. I don't actually journal on the video because I need to sit down and kind of think through what I want to say. And I just didn't, I'll just do that here shortly. And I may attach some photos at the end as well of that after it's done. And I love the You Deserve All the Good Things card there. That was one of the cut aparts. I had two of them because I think I must have had two of the papers, and one I didn't cut very evenly. So you can, I don't know if you saw that I recut another one out and used it instead. So just kind of layered those on each side and kind of glued things down a little bit better. I just kind of usually do like a very quick glue down to keep things in place. And then as I make sure everything's straight and make sure that everything is where I want it, then I glue it down well. Now you'll see here down the road a little ways, I totally ruined a couple stickers because I know better. I know that you can't put stickers directly onto photos. Like usually if you put it on cardstock, you can tear them back up pretty easy. But I put some on directly onto the photos and I regret it, and I end up ruining a couple stickers. I mean, they're still kind of usable, but I don't know if I will because they're kind of wrinkly looking now. I also I have that powder tool that I use all the time to take sticky off when I'm kind of playing around with where I want to put things. And I don't know why I didn't get that out and just use it, but I think I was just too lazy to grab that. I should have used that today, but I didn't. That's okay. It's not a big deal. I have a bazillion stickers. It's okay. So I wanted to title this Surprise, just because this was kind of the big surprise of the day. And I kind of tinker with the title a little bit, but I had a one of those things where you think you know how to spell a word and then you start guessing yourself and you start questioning yourself. And I was like, I think I know how to spell surprise, but why does it not seem right to me? And so I had to go look it up really fast on my computer, and I was right. But so I had to kind of move everything down here a little bit. But anyway, you may also notice I like to give texture when I have a really flat background. I like to just kind of wrinkle up the edges a little bit just to give the page a little bit of texture. And I'll do that to anything that's flat. So any kind of journal card or pattern paper or whatever, I'll often do that. So here I'm looking up how to spell surprise because I kept questioning myself. It's funny. So sorry, it's just sitting here for a little while. All right, so yeah, so now I'm like, okay, so I figured I needed a little bit more room, so I moved everything over a little bit here. I am just going to shut this door really fast because I think I can hear the TV in the background here. 1 second. Never know how much you can hear in the background when I do these voiceovers, so I haven't done one in a long time. It's probably been, I don't know, 2 years since I've done a voiceover, so alrighty. So I've got the title, and I don't always do titles. Sometimes I just use the cards or the ephemera pieces to serve as my title, but this one I wanted to make sure that it was labeled Surprise, since that was a big part of the day. So now I'm just kind of starting to filter through embellishments. I have a big pile of cut aparts and all the die cuts kind of up off to the upper right. You just kind of can't really see it very well, but I'm just kind of filtering through and seeing what all I have in there as far as words and phrases and icons. Found a few more stickers I forgot I had. And this is just where I start to tinker and just using the eyeball to see. I don't end up using this tag. It doesn't quite fit, so. Oh, let's see. I love these tags because one, they already have the string on them, and I love that. And they're just a nice size, and so I tuck in a couple of those. And I want to get one off to the left just to kind of balance it out a little bit. So I'm just trying to figure out where that fits. And again, at this point, just if you're not familiar with my process, because like I said, it's been a long time since I've done a video like this, I kind of tinker and I just kind of balance as I go. So I look at colors, I look at size of embellishments, and just kind of balance as I go. And I've done this for quite a long time. I just really like, on a plain white background, I like just doing a black line to kind of I don't know, provide just a little, I don't know, it just seems like it helps finish the background a little bit. I don't know. It's just a thing I like to do. Anyway, so now I'm just I've kind of balanced out those little tags. And so now I felt like I needed some more green over on the left to balance out the green journaling card. So I find a present. And then because that's kind of a puffy, medium size embellishment, I want to get another of that same texture onto the right side. So I'm always just kind of balancing, so you don't have a bunch of randomness. It has a little bit of a organization to it. This one doesn't end up working. So I look at texture, I look at color, I look at size, and I just balance it all out as best as I can. And that one doesn't work, but then I'm like, oh, this is cute because it is kind of like it's a party COVID style. So I just kind of layer that on that right side just to balance out. And so now I'm just looking through the rest of the stickers, and here's where I mess up because I end up finding another. No, this one's fine. This one, I like kind of getting some white elements. I like I did the title in white. It's kind of like an iridescent white. And then the sticker was white with the gold writing. And I like that because it I'm getting a lot of colors and patterns going on. So it's always nice to bring something white to the top to rest the eye a little bit. And I like this banner sticker just to add a little something to the top. Sometimes I'll do a full-on other cluster along the top, but because my overall base of the page kind of spanned a big portion of the page, I didn't do that. Usually I'll do, if I have a photo with a cluster around it, and then I'll do another cluster at the top, but I didn't really have, this cluster of the photos and everything is taking up most of the page. So I just kept it pretty simple along the top there. So these are the letter stickers I end up kind of ruining because I put them directly on the photo. And I think I would have been fine if I would have put them on cardstock and I could have peeled them back up. I should have, sorry, my phone is I must have something, someone texting me. And usually I powder the backs of some of these stickers before if I am not for sure where they're going to end up. I think I was pretty confident that that's where they were staying, but then I find this this sticker, the All About You sticker, which would just, I think, fit perfectly. And I thought, oh, that's perfect right where I put those stickers. And so I end up switching this out. So sorry, you're gonna see me mess with this because I'm like, oh no, I ruined it, because they're really cute stickers. They're happy, and then one says amazing, because it was just like a really cool experience to watch her friends do this for her and her response to it. And so this is real, guys. This is like how it goes. Sometimes you just mess up. You just change your mind, and it isn't always able to be fixed, and that's fine. But I like this other sticker because it had some dimension to it. I just wanted to get like one more dimensional piece, and I just love the phrase just because you know, it was just a crazy time for this poor girl to turn 13 in the middle of this crazy pandemic, and I wanted to make sure that she felt special that day. So I'm like, darn it. Oh, it is what it is. I just don't sweat the small stuff, right? So then I have a little bit of that leftover residue I need to cover, and I'll bring a die cut in here pretty soon to cover that. I put this back in there, but it's just too wrinkled, like, because it kind of looked like it's like cellophane, kind of wrinkly, but so I thought I could get away with it, but then I'm just like, nah, I don't like it, so I'll take it off here shortly. Just kind of filtering through the rest of the stickers and seeing if there's anything else I want to add. Nice. Oh yeah, I just really wanted to use those words, but they're just too rough looking for me. And I'm sure it would have looked fine, but I ended up taking them off, so. I'm like, never mind. Yeah, that didn't work because it was so close to the other little flag tags there. So I'm like, why don't you get something underneath here to cover that? I'm sure I can find something cute. And it actually ends up being something I can actually probably add a little journaling to if I need to. I want to add another little, maybe I'll put the date on there or something, and then do the journaling on the green card. And I like that it brings up some of that goldish yellow color. I feel like that really added, especially watching it on video, to the layout, because it just brings some of that more toned down goldish color to the front there, and some more white, which is always good. So I'm actually I wanted to get some bling on here, and I just went to go grab some little jewels that I knew I had in my room, and so just do getting some of the final little embellishments on the page here. Yeah, I might wait. I mentioned earlier I might show the other pages I've done from this day with this kit at the end, but I think I'm going to do a separate video on that. So I'm going to wait and just finish up with the pictures I have to scrapbook, and then I'll just do a video showing all the layouts together, including this one. Okay. So I was going to journal, like I said, but then I'm like, oh man, I just feel the pressure being on camera. So I want to think through this. I don't have a ton of space there. And I've already kind of written about it. But I'm going to give myself some freedom to, you know, tinker with it a little bit and make sure I get what I want down. And so I'm like, I'm going to do that later. I'm going to go and finish up the divided page protector. And so here I know I need to get some paper into those two middle slots. One as a background for that middle right photo that I had to cut down a little bit, and then one for that left side, and figure out what I wanted to do. I could have, I could have just put a journaling card in there. I don't know if there were any 4x6 ones in this. I'm not for sure. I ended up just putting an embellishment in there, and then I actually love what I did with it. So I'm going to have to make sure that I can fit my journaling on that layout, which will be fine. So just cutting this one down and giving it a little bit of a, it's like a confetti paper. Just to make that a true 4x6 to match the other photos. And then I end up going with this green polka dot paper because, you know, I had that green color was pretty prominent in the layout, so it helps bring that together. And so then I'm like, do I want to do a card or a phrase? Trying to figure out what I want to put on it. And I end up keeping it very simple. And I love this big ol' happy birthday sticker. I think it's really perfect just to be kind of a center and on its own. And so I throw that in there. And then, because it's a birthday layout, we have to have sequins, right? So I go and I'm going to put a bunch of sequins in there. They're going to just kind of roll around in there. And I'm going to seal the top with the We Are Memory Keepers tool. I can't think of what it's called. What's it called? But I didn't do it on video because I want to make sure before I seal it that on the back side of this, I'm going to be putting pictures of her opening her present. So I want to make sure I keep it open to put, the fuse is what it's called. To put, I need to put something else in that pocket. So I don't want to seal it yet until I'm done. And so, I'll do that when I'm done with the back side of that page protector. So I'm just going through and just finding I'm kind of just looking at the colors and wanting to get just a variety of the colors that are in the layout to the left. And I have a bazillion sequins, you guys. It's ridiculous how many sequins I have. This isn't even all of them, which is crazy. So I need to be better about using them more often, but they're especially perfect for birthday layouts. I've also been using these a lot for my Hawaii album that I still need to finish. I've worked on it a little bit, but I like using these I just like using them for these page protectors, and that fuse tool is pretty awesome for allowing them to be in there without falling out. So and of course they're staticky and they're kind of a pain in the rear, but they're still really fun once you get them in there, and they're just kind of like, it's like a shaker. They're just kind of moving around in there. So this is pretty much it, you guys. Like I said, I will finish scrapbooking the rest of the photos I have from this event, from this birthday, and then I'll do a layout share showing you all the layouts, and so you'll get it all journal on this one, and you'll get to see it that way with journaling on it, and how I kind of finish the back side of this. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope this wasn't too, I know it's kind of a long video, but This is just a great process to follow when you have lots of photos for certain events, and just wanted to share this process with you all. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys are all doing well and staying healthy and getting some scrapbooking done. It feels good to scrapbook again. It's been a while. I'm just getting all these leftover little sequins that fell out and sticking them in there. Sorry. I guess it's not quite done yet. Anyway, so you guys just take care and happy scrapping, and I'll be back with a layout share. Thank you guys.